What's up, everyone, and welcome back to Rovi's Pod. If this is your first time listening, well then, what took you so long? No, I'm just kidding. But today's episode is quite different from what I usually talk about. Usually, I speak on the latest pop culture moments, like who has Chappell Roan yelled at today, things of that matter. However, like every Canadian is experiencing right now, our feeds are flooded with the upcoming federal election. So, as much as I'd love to go over the timeline of Katy Perry and Justin Trudeau's relationship right now, I do think it is important to keep my listeners informed with what's going on, since, say it with me, everything is political. So running away from it and remaining ignorant is how we get bad people in office. Anyway, without further interruption, I'm pleased to introduce a very notable guest today. She is the leading face in the upcoming Canadian election, leader of the party that wishes to appeal to the Canadian youth and simplify the political scene right now. Please welcome Yadel Charisma.
Hi everyone, I'm so excited to be here and really talk deeper about our political party, the Uri Party. We are the roots of democracy. When we talk about the roots of democracy, we're really talking about the stuff that keeps a country grounded. It's the foundation. We are the foundation, the values that everything else grows out of.
Welcome to Rovi's Pod. I'm so honored to be interviewing you today.
Thanks for inviting me. Honestly, I'm thrilled to be here. I love having the chance to talk about what we're building and what really matters to Canadians.
Of course, before this, I took a brief overview of the Uri Party and its platform, and I must say, it was pure eye candy. I felt like I would get a sugar rush from reading our policies. There were many different ideas I read on your website that had me like, and others, like I said, to me as a voting citizen, seemed irresistible. So today I thought it'd be nice to have you come and directly speak on what it is exactly you would do if you were to be elected and how your promised policies would play out.
Thank you for saying that. We wanted our platform to feel refreshing, something that people could read and actually feel hopeful about. If it made you pause and think, that's exactly what we're aiming for.
Starting off with your economic policy. When I was taking a look at it, I just saw some numbers going up and wonder whether or not that's a good or bad sign.
Yeah, you definitely saw some numbers rising. But in our case, rising numbers are actually a good sign because what you're really seeing is stability and fairness growing in the economy, not chaos. Our economic plan is built around one simple idea, that people deserve to live comfortably, not just survive. And right now, capitalism in its current form isn't really giving us that. It's creating a bigger wealth gap every year, and we're watching the same pattern over and over. Consumerism goes up and profits go up, but somehow every day people don't feel any richer. That's why we're pushing for a progressive taxation system, not to punish people, but to stop a tiny group of ultra-rich individuals from hoarding health while everyone else is stressed out about rent. Anyone making below $130,000 won't see any increase at all. But for those earning well above that, 26% becomes 30%, 29% becomes 35%, and anything past $250,000 will be taxed at 44%. To us, billionaires shouldn't really exist in a society where some people can barely afford groceries. And the reason we're doing this isn't to take for the sake of taking, it's because with strong social safety nets, people feel safer. When healthcare, housing support, education, and job opportunities are secure, the pressure drops. It stops feeling like the government is taking anything at all. Instead, it starts to feel like the government is finally giving back. We also believe in keeping resources moving, especially through foreign trade. Sharing resources globally creates balance and prevents any country from exploiting one another. Plus, we'd love to boost youth employment through more public work opportunities. Young people deserve real experience, real pay, and a real chance to contribute to the country that they're inheriting. And above all, we don't want Canadians carrying heavy tax burdens. Let us carry it. Let the government handle the weight so everyday citizens can actually breathe.
Wow, I felt incredibly informed by that. Moving on to your social policies, Canada has always been a nation that's open to government intervention when needed. Where does your party stand on all of that?
Yeah, Canada has always had a pretty open relationship with government intervention, and honestly, our party stands right in line with that, but with intention, not interference. We believe that government should step in when it genuinely improves people's lives, not when it complicates them. And right now, there are areas where stepping up is absolutely necessary. Take the housing crisis. Leaving it to the market clearly hasn't worked. Prices keep climbing, supplies is matching demand, and young people feel like home ownership is a fantasy. That's a situation where government needs to intervene. Remains a human right, not a luxury. Education is another big one. We want more tax funding going straight into schools and teachers because overcrowded classrooms aren't just stressful, they're unequal. Smaller class sizes mean better learning, better support, and better futures, especially for kids who need extra help. Investing in teachers is like investing in the country. And when it comes to jobs, especially for young people, government intervention is actually empowering. We want to create youth employment through public works, projects that benefit our cities, clean up communities, and give young people real work experience. One thing we aren't changing, though, is gun laws. Canada's strict regulations, heavy verification, and safety standards are part of what keeps our country safe. We are not interested in loosening that. If anything, we want to maintain the stability and security Canadians already trust.
It almost sounds like we're being pampered. What is it about your social policies and government involvement that will help you win this upcoming election?
What really sets our social policies apart is the relationship we're trying to rebuild between the government and its citizens. For a lot of people, especially younger generations, government feels distant or even confusing, and that doesn't just come out of nowhere. You look at situations around the world. Take the Philippines, for example, where corruption, lack of transparency have made people completely lose faith in their leaders. When that trust breaks, people stop believing the system can work for them. We want to do the exact opposite. Our approach is built on transparency, clear spending, open communications, and policies that actually show where tax dollars are going. When people see the impact of their contributions, like smaller class sizes, affordable housing projects, youth jobs, they stop seeing government involvement as interference, but start seeing it as support. And support isn't pampering, it's the minimum Canadians deserve.
Now, if we could just pivot for a second, like I've mentioned before, this is a party that's increasingly becoming popular with the younger generation, namely Gen Z. What do you think is so significant about having a generation of young minds who are usually so turned off from politics actually listen to you?
Yeah, you're super right. Gen Z is usually the first group to say no thanks to politics, and honestly, it makes sense. Politics gets confusing so fast. One word can have 5 different meanings, everything sounds super serious, and it's just overwhelming. It pushes people away instead of helping them understand what's going on. And then there's the problem of information. A lot of what young people see online isn't accurate. It's people just repeating their opinions really loudly, and sometimes it feels easier to just believe whatever pops up first. But that makes it even harder to even trust what's real. On top of that, many young people are scared for the future, and I get it. And the biggest thing, young people don't feel listened to. They don't feel important to the people in charge, which is strange because they're the ones who will be running the country one day. That's why our party connects with them. We don't talk over their heads. We don't hide what we're trying to do. We're honest, we explain things clearly, and we try to bring back a sense of hope. We treat young people like they matter because they do. And when they feel seen and understood, they're actually willing to pay attention. And that's really powerful.
Absolutely. We live in a day and age where self-driving cars are becoming the norm, celebrities are visiting space like it's their lake house, and AI has truly infiltrated every corner of the internet. What can you say about the future of tech and science in Canada?
You're so right. Technology is moving faster than ever. Self-driving cars, private space trips, AI being everywhere. It's exciting, but it's also a wake-up call. Canada has so much talent. We can't just afford to sit back and watch the world pass us by. That's why we want to make science and technology a priority. We've already invested in STEM centers to help young people explore and fall in love with science. But it's not just about schools. It's about making sure researchers and innovators have the freedom to actually be creative. We also want to decentralize science. We should bring research opportunities outside of big cities so talent all across Canada has a chance to contribute. And yes, AI is powerful, but it's also a concern. It needs rules and regulations so it's safe and actually helps people instead of creating more problems. Specifically with AI, there's a lot of debate on its practicality and actual usefulness. Its full capabilities are still unexplored. But what is our official stance on AI? Well, it's a huge topic right now, and honestly, it's exciting, but also tricky. Its full potential is still being explored, and it does take a lot of resources to maintain and operate it. But we don't see that as a reason to avoid it. We see that as a reason to handle it responsibly. We think that AI should help people, not replace or harm them. We don't want AI making decisions that affect people without oversight. But at the same time, we want to encourage innovation. Canada has incredible talent, like I said. And AI is one of the tools that can help scientists and engineers and businesses solve real problems. So it's all about the balance. Use AI to its full potential, but make sure it's controlled and actually benefits everyday Canadians.
So the next topic is a hot one, no pun intended, which are your environmental policies. Much like the global temperature, concern for the world's health is rising. How important is it for you to pour effort to help stop climate change, and how do you plan on doing that?
Absolutely. Environmental issues are one of the most urgent challenges that we face today. Global warming isn't a distant problem. It's happening right now, affecting communities, jobs, and the future we're leaving for younger generations. First, we're investing heavily in renewable energy like solar and wind power, because our energy systems need to shift away from fossil fuels. This isn't just about reducing emissions. It's about creating green jobs and giving young people a real future in sustainable industries. Second, we want to reduce waste in everyday life. For example, we plan to make reusable bags free so everyone can make eco-friendly choices without it costing them extra. It's a small step, but small steps add up when millions of people participate. And third, we're pushing to bring advanced environmental technologies into Canada. From smarter energy grids to water purifications and carbon capture systems, innovation is key. And if we can make these technologies accessible and affordable, households and businesses can start using them immediately.
So on my overview of your policies, what caught my eye was your ideas and new implementations regarding Canada's healthcare system. Although many Canadians find pride in our universal healthcare, you've been quite outward with changing it. Please take us into what the future of healthcare in Canada looks like.
Thank you for bringing that up, actually. Canada's healthcare system is something that we all take pride in, and we fully support universal healthcare. That's non-negotiable for us. But like anything, it has its challenges. Like wait times for specialists and emergencies can be too long. Mental health, especially for kids, isn't always addressed early enough. Right now, mental health support often relies on private organizations, which can leave gaps, and kids sometimes grow into adults carrying untreated issues. That's why our plan focuses on both strengthening what already works and innovating where it's needed. We fully support health insurance and universal access. Like, everybody deserves care, period. Healthcare is a right, not a privilege. We want to partner with private firms under government regulations to reduce wait times for specialists and emergencies. This ensures efficiency without sacrificing accessibility or fairness. Mental health is a huge focus. We want more counselors in school, easily accessible to all students, so mental health support becomes normalized and early intervention is standard. By doing this, we prevent small issues from turning into bigger problems later in life. Overall, the goal is a system where care is fast, where Canadians feel safe, supported, and free from the stress of worrying about health coverage. So yeah. We're proud of Canada's healthcare, but we also know there's room to grow, and these changes are about making the system work better for everyone.
Lastly, the subject of civil and human rights is a shaky one right now. We're constantly bombarded with news every day from around the world of rights being taken or the rule of law not being followed. It seems what we used to consider as fundamental rights of an individual are now becoming less stable and more subjective. What can you tell Canadians about the URI's civil liberties and human rights policies that will ease their worries of falling into society that excludes individuals and overrides rights?
Canadians should know that the URI Party is committed to protecting constitutional rights, and those will not change. Every citizen will continue to have the freedoms and protections guaranteed under our Constitution. At the same time, we recognize that the age of technology has created new challenges. Social media can be a place for connection, but it's also where misinformation, harassment, and hate speech can spread quickly. That's why we're firm on strict regulations against hate speech online and harmful content that targets like individuals or groups. People have the right to speak, but they do not have the right to harm others. Our approach is about balancing freedom with safety. Like, we want Canadians to feel confident that their rights are respected, that they can express themselves, and that technology won't be used to undermine their freedoms. It's about building a society where people are included, protected, no matter who they are. At the end of the day, human rights aren't just words on paper. They're lived experiences, and our policies are designed to make sure Canadians can continue to live freely, safely, and equally in the digital age and beyond.
Now, you're a busy woman, so I wouldn't want to keep you from your actual job, but thank you so much for coming by and connecting with the listeners.
Thank you so much. I really love this conversation. It really meant a lot to me. I really hope this inspires more people to get involved and see that politics can really make a difference in their daily lives.